Well, it's up and running. I had to get it going for a meeting in the city. It's on once a month where we just go in, have a coffee and talk bikes. So let's have a look at the front tyre. And here, if you look around the sidewall of the tyre, you'll come across 4 digits. And then the first 2 digits are for the weeks, and then the second 2 digits is for the year. So it was made in the 3rd week of the year 2012, which is a bloody long time ago for tyres. Now for the rear tyre, we've got the 10th week of 2015. This is the problem when the bikes just sit around not getting much use. The time just races away. So we're going to go get some new tyres. So I went for the Bridgestone S23, the new ones. I've had a fantastic run with the S22s, never had a scary moment with them at all. And the new ones promise even better performance. So they went on, and the difference is night and day. The old tyres were, one being too old, is one thing, but also worn too badly, and the roll into the corners was all just sort of inconsistent. It would drop, flop into the corner and then hold and then slip, and it was just absolutely awful. But now it's beautiful. The best thing you can do to give your bike that new bike feel. Now on the back end I went to the 190 by 55 instead of the 50 profile. It's now a 55 profile. It's a little bit bigger in diameter, but it also has a bigger, rounder profile for cornering. The 50 profile works better on the drag strip, just for street bike I'm talking about, not professional stuff, but just street bike stuff. I would use a 50 profile on the drag strip on the Bussa, and then I would use a 55 for the track days. Fork legs out, into the bike shop, new fork seals, new oil, factory settings, and the difference is amazing. It has come up so good. I increased the preload some, basically just a little bit more than standard on the preload. Compression and rebound is factory setting, and the new oil level, air gap, is all spot on. It has made a big difference. So I don't really think I need to go for new springs yet or anything like that. So I haven't touched the back yet. I haven't had time, but it's too hard. And I was talking to the Suzuki mechanic, and he says, you know, they do have a tendency to lock up as well as not being serviceable. I might have to try a little bit more investigating with the rear shock, but I'll do some adjustments with the back shock anyway, just because it costs a lot of money to go aftermarket. I would really like Hyper Pro gear for the back end and a new steering damper. That'd be nice. Now the wear on the disc is sort of reasonable for thickness wise for something that's got a fair few kilometres on the bike. Now what happens when the kilometres start getting high is elongated carrier here, and you have this backwards and forward movement of the disc. They have a semi-floating arrangement for pad alignment for braking, but the elongation is not real good, so these discs are on their way out. The pads wear is uneven in the caliper there. Both pads, both calipers on both sides had the more meat on one pad than the other. All the pistons were working, not seized, and the wheel was spinning freely, but it's still uneven pad wear, so that's a bit of a concern. As soon as I can, I'll change the calipers and the master cylinder. The master cylinder is very weak on this. The bite is very mild. Sure, it stops, but you just squeeze harder and harder and harder, whereas on a stronger system, you know, it's one finger or two finger to get something happening. With this, I find I have to use my whole hand and squeeze pretty hard on it. So we've got to do that next. But we've got the new Bridgestone S23s, we've got the new Forksel and the new oil and all the gear. They are fantastic now. And we go to the back and, oh God, there's those rim stickers again. On the back end, I found that the back wheel wasn't spinning too freely, and yet the caliper wasn't dragging, but the chain lube was so old and dried on the chain, a good wash, and then with a normal lube, I use Motul Racing. Where is that? The chain lube that I use is the Motul Racing Road factory line, that one there. It's a lighter one than a normal road one because I don't want the drag, but it doesn't fling off too much. And I always keep the rollers lubed on the sprocket. I don't run metal to metal. That's what, you know, you use the internal lubrication in a good chain with the O-rings or X-rings, and then my concern is for the metal to metal contact between the rollers and the sprockets. But what I was going to say was the rear disc has got a fair bit of wear in it as well, and a bit of a lip on it, so I want to change that. The first owner, it must have used a lot of rear brake, because I don't wear the back discs out like that at all. I only use rear brake for doing U-turns in car parks, that type of stuff. But this one has got about equal wear to the front discs. And these standard discs are really heavy. You can get some good aftermarket ones, and the Galfa is one on the other bike, and it's nice and light. These are way too chunky. So fitting the Suzuki Decal on the tank was a bit of a mission, a bit of a challenge. The early models, or the first years I should say, the Suzuki put them down there, and then I don't know, 2000 or 2001 or something, they moved them to this location here, and this is a 2002. But it didn't have any references other than just photos of where, say, the steering damper finishes. I got a spare tank, but it's an earlier one, and the Decal position was there. So I just went off photos, kind of did my best to try and locate it where it should go. And then the mirror image on the other side was the real challenge, because I needed to get it on the right tilt and forward and aft. So I ended up doing a strip down the middle, measuring it down the middle, and then sort of like measuring across with a tape, so that I could get sort of like an average of the curve, the way so I didn't want to have, you know, like being one there and more back or everything. And because you can see from above, you can see both sides, so I wanted it as best I could. So that's what I did anyway, and it came up okay. But the problem is that the decals are too old, or decals, or decals, whatever way you want to say it, or just call them stickers. But they're too old and they're lifting, so when you peel them off, they all kind of fall apart. They don't peel off easily on the adhesive side, only the backing comes off. Anyway, when you see the decal like that, they're no good. I need newer ones, they're dried out. So I sort of did my best on what I could do with that. Hang on, I've got to get this unlocked. Hang on. The bike's coming along really good, and I'll get stuck into it with the brakes and quick shifter that we'll organise for next month, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks for following. See ya. Bye.